We talked to Logan O'Connor yesterday in the locker room, and he said you had a grammatical error in 2017 when you were the assistant coach.
Yeah.
It's part now of the lore. Tell that whole story, how it went down.
Was this before or after he went off sides last night? Because he maintained possession.
Oh, we're going to send him this clip. 100%.
That's so good.
Welcome to Puck Around and Pot Out, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Is that the actual jersey, Ryker, that you wore?
You know what's cool is
That's
this year's
50th
captain.
anniversary.
This year's
Or
captain
75th.
also 21 and a captain, and scored the sick overtime winner against Michigan. What?
Nice.
How are you
Nice.
guys doing today? Like
I'm tired.
I went to sleep. Literally, I flopped around in bed. Dana and I got in a fight because her arm kept flopping on top of me and her leg kept whipping all over me. And I was like, she was like, ugh, just so sleepy and so snory. And I was just having absolute nightmares about this podcast, about the next podcast, about meetings, about the game. 3:30, I finally fell asleep, and I thought someone delivered a package to my front door, and I'm going on no sleep, basically.
Yeah.
There was no
It's going to be a
sleep.
push today, fellas. We'll just let the
Yeah.
podcast world know. Quick turnaround. This is our earliest one ever that I can recall.
Well,
And we're
I didn't
gonna
get home
crush it,
till
boys.
12:30 last night.
I know. It's unreal, eh?
Did
I-
anyone crush McDonald's is the real question.
No McDonald's.
Did anyone crush any food when they got home?
I had some pretzels.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had a chili one.
Nice. Good for
I
you.
love the 3%, man. It's like just had a quick beer, and I was out.
I had zero booze when I got home. I had pretzels and that was it. I did not
fell
get in a
straight
fight
asleep?
with my wife. No, I tossed and turned. I did not get in a fight with my wife though for her arm flopping around. So
Oh, dude, that's the first thing. I came down this morning, and Dana was curling Quincy's hair, and she just normally it's like, "Good morning, babe," big hug, all that stuff. She's looking at me like abuse. It was abuse last night.
I feel like it's like a couple days a week that she's giving you the look when you walk down the stairs.
Dana, Dana, were you flopping around with your arms and everything all over me? I know. Were you deep REM snoring?
Dana, we
like-
know that it's Kyle's fault. It's Kyle's fault.
I love how Dana's a part of the podcast now. She's like
the Dana part,
the
like
X factor coming in.
meatloaf. We need the meatloaf.
Babe, will you bring me some snacks? Like Doritos with
8:50
dust.
in the morning. It's 8:50 in the morning. Hey guys, I got to talk about something real quick. I essentially, well, actually, I'm just gonna talk about this. So, as you know, I run up and down during intermissions, right? So I'm shooting back up after the second intermission. And I get up there and I see my buddy Brett Henning. So we played at the U.S. program together. He's one of the scouts, like head scouts, player development for Vancouver. Lives in Denver. Played at Notre Dame with Robleski, who we had on the podcast. So I go, hey, Henner, we had Robo on the podcast a few weeks ago. It was unbelievable. You ask him a question. He talks for 7-8 minutes, like really in depth. And I'm talking to him, and as you know, as you're walking down the hall towards our booth, Ryker, I'm like turned walking backwards towards our booth and looking at where all the snacks are. And I'm talking, I'm like, Robo's so dialed, so smart. I'm like, I don't even remember going to high school with this guy in the sense, like he's just like, did I actually go to high school with him? Because he feels like he's way smarter than me now. And I get like knocked in the back. And I'm like, huh? And I turn around. It's Landy, Manson, Kadri, McKinnon. And it was like, it was the equivalent of like me being lockered in high school. Like Landy, like shoving me in a locker as
The
these guys, like,
entourage.
yeah, I was like, oh, hey, they're coming out of Stan's suite. And I'm walking backwards, not even thinking that anybody's there because there's never anybody in that hallway, Ryker, right? Like, never.
No.
And I get
Game
just
82
the
too.
shove, like, get out of the way, nerd. And I was just like, hey guys.
Nerds.
Yeah, like, hey guys. Yeah, hey, enjoy the night. Congrats, Nate, on the rocket. Sweet.
You say anything?
No, they're just like this. They're just like,
Hey, what a place to watch the game on. Who's been in Stan's Mr. Cronky's suite? Should say it properly. Kyle, you've been in there. Johnny?
I have not. There's a rumor, a very like awesome rumor that there's Screaming Eagle on tap in that suite. Now, I don't know if that's true or
Keefer,
not.
tell us what it's like in Stan Kroenke's suite up there, because from afar it looks immaculate.
Yeah.
Well, I just happened to get invited to a Nuggets game, and I don't know. This had to be 10 years ago. It was like the suite was like maybe a year or two old, and I got invited by Stan's secretary, and just getting there, as you guys know, is hard. And then I was so nervous when I walked in that I was just like, "Oh my God, here we go, and we open the door, and just everybody is dressed like for a serious meeting. Like
Way to get that out, Keefer. Good job. Serious meeting.
well, it's like suits and coats and like
Dress
everybody
for
in there.
a serious meeting.
What
Sorry to
were you
interrupt.
wearing? What were you wearing?
Yeah, I'm sure I was just wearing a tank top and some shorts or something. I don't remember.
Sleeves optional? You went with the sleeves optional.
I walked in there and everyone turned around, like, the record stopped and like looked at me, and I was like, oh my God. But it's awesome. It's beautiful. I did enjoy a glass of wine. I don't know if it was Screaming Eagle, but it was better than the box wine I have in my garage. I can tell you that.
Did it taste like an orgasm in a glass? Because then it was Screaming Eagle.
It
Hey, welcome 10-year-olds to the show. Oh man.
Hey, somebody did say they listened to the podcast with their kid, and I was like, okay, we'll dial down the cursing, and he goes, no. He's like, keep it up. It's awesome.
Let
Like,
the boy watch.
Let the boy watch.
Does that guy live in a van down by the river?
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Okay,
so naturally I went in there. I showed everyone my back tattoo.
Yeah,
And,
obviously.
there was
You're going to
cheer.
show everybody your face tattoo soon when the Avs win the cup again this year.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, did your credential get you into Mr. Kroenke's suite? Like when you buzz?
No.
Or did you have to
Shit.
knock?
The lady came and got me.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, I feel like my credential it barely gets me in like the bathrooms at Ball Arena.
Oh, mine doesn't.
It's like, it's like everywhere you go.
I got heavy carded yesterday. Hard. Like
There's some new
everywhere I
guys
went.
that were carding.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
get towards playoffs, and it is like, I've passed this guy like 10 times.
Yeah.
We've talked. How's your day going? You excited for the game? 10 minutes later, I walk by him. He's like, pass. I'm like, we're on a first name basis. What's happening? Should we talk about last night's game real quick before we get David Carle on here?
I was gonna say, could we just do a week in review? We got DU Natty, Masters, right, and then Avs going 2-game road trip and then coming home against Seattle. Quick week in review.
Nuggets won 12 in a row to make the playoffs, like in the third seed.
Keefer, why don't you run us through it with your voice, your Moj voice?
Okay. Yes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the big show. It was a big week here in Denver, Colorado. The DU Pioneers won back-to-back games in the third period, coming back from down a goal. They win the national championship over the Wisconsin Badgers. David Carle parties all night long like a freak show. Then the Colorado Avalanche continue to roll on. They go 4-1 in their last 5 games to single out the other teams and tell them that they're shit. Then what do we got? We had the Masters, where Rory McIlroy once again powered through everything and left everyone in the dust. And finally, the Denver Nuggets win 12 in a row as they lock up the third seed right here in Denver. Hi, I'm John McJunkin. Bring a friend, $5. Domino's Pizza will be there in conjunction with Power 103.
John McJunkin. That was
So good, Keefer.
that is
Like
pretty.
that.
That's so good.
We just summed it all up. Okay, what's
Yeah.
next?
See you
Yeah.
guys. See you next week.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so tired right now. This is nuts.
So, just so you know, these 5, the 5 hot questions that I'm coming up with.
Yeah.
Dave Carle's a pretty serious guy. So I'm shell shocked from my Rob Blake 5 questions. So they're not out of bounds. I'll tell you that.
You better have some out of bounds questions for Tyson Berry.
I do. Dana, I
Okay.
only got 3
All right.
written down, and she did not approve of any of the 3.
That's perfect. That is the sweet spot we're looking for. The seal of disapproval from your wife or my wife.
Yeah, but I can't have your reaction be because I'm halfway through the question, and I look up, and if your guys' face is like, "Who let this guy in the pod?"
In all fairness,
I need
when
pause.
Blakey was on and you go, were you just ripping some tides, man? After he said he was surfing, it was at that point, you lost me.
You guys have never ripped a tide?
It sounds like you got to wash your shorts afterward if that's what you're doing.
Ryker, have you ever surfed?
No, but I think with the playoff format that came out, there's a 2-day break between games 3 and 4. How can I hire? How far am I away in LA from like a place to surf? Do you know, Johnny? I don't know the area. I've never surfed.
I bet you're 40 minutes from Manhattan Beach, which is where Blakey is. And I think that's your sweet spot. Just
Do
out
I
on
call
Manhattan
Rob
Beach.
Blake, who I've never, I'm not really friends with Rob Blake. I just know him. Say,
Yeah.
hey, Blakey, can I go rip tides with you?
What you say is, hey, Blakey, you were on the pod and I'm one of the guys you like. I'm not Keefer. And he would be like, yes, come on
Let's
out.
go.
Let's surf.
Hey, should
Ryker,
I
there's
bring
a
Mose
place-
with me?
There's a place, Ryker, right?
Oh my God. I would pay so much money to see Moj surf. Like Moj was very into Keefer. I don't know if you heard it. Moj was very into the La Brea Tar Pits last night on the broadcast.
Oh, he wouldn't shut up about it.
What is it?
He's going, who's coming to the tar pits
He
with me?
wants to go to the La Brea Tar Pits on the off day. And he goes, I'm just really into fossils. And Ryker, what was your line to him? You called him a fossil.
Well, you should because you are one.
Said this on TV?
Multiple times.
Yeah. Just wants to go to the tar pits.
He just wants to go to the tar pits. He was like, have you ever been to the tar pits? I said, no, that wasn't my first place on a day off in LA to go.
No,
was the
we're going to
tar
Whiskey
pits.
A Go-Go. I want to see where the doors started.
Yeah.
You got to admit, I mean, Moj still wears fishing shirts, like when he goes out, like full-blown fishing shirts, like with pockets where you can keep your lures, sunglasses, a
Hey,
water
People
bottle.
don't know. Hey, Johnny.
Is that called a cargo shirt? Because our producer wears cargo shorts.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Tearaway.
But hey, how about the lung Moj has been hacking up for 6 weeks? Like he hits the cough button right
he's
now.
almost dying. Yeah.
And like he coughs almost like I'm like, did he just barf in the corner? Like what is going
Yeah.
on with Moj?
Our booth was
Your boof?
our booth.
sorry.
it's
really something.
this is empty. I'm going to leave in a minute and refill it for the third time.
beer?
I wish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet up with Tice later for some chili ones in Cherry Creek.
Wait, are you sure I'm invited? Because I want to come.
You are.
too.
You are.
What time we starting
It's a
at?
happy hour. Well, 3:00 apparently.
Oh, no.
Now, Rikes, this is a
After
boys
kid
only.
pickup.
This is not a and one.
Yeah, well, you'll like this. I got Zoe until 6:30, so I can't get. I'm gonna miss it.
No, you're not gonna miss it. We'll see. It's fluid at this point. Okay.
Fluid. I like
Yeah,
that.
our,
Yes, Keefer noted.
Our booth was a disaster last night, and I was the lead friggin' 3-ring circus. At one point, Ryker,
You're never the lead, Johnny. I had 3
I was
strokes.
I was the lead. My brain melted out my ear at one point when I was trying to make a point about how Seattle came out to start the third period. I started, I stopped, I restarted, and then I just said, you know what, boys, I'm out.
Griff, find that clip.
In the intermission, told his team, hey, You got to live with the rest of. You got to live this. I lost it, boys.
Johnny, I was almost going to bail you out.
I had a thought.
It's okay.
And Moj goes, yeah, I felt like you were struggling, Johnny, and I could have helped you, but I just wanted to see where you're going to go with it.
Yeah, it was how much defensively have you struggled here?
It was
one of those moments. And then he just goes, guys, that's it. The thought's gone. Start fresh.
And Lee 10 seconds later goes, on camera. And I'm just sitting there just shaking my head like this.
We need a chilly one.
a chilly one.
82-game chilly one. Oh, man.
I was considering just like falling forward right out of the booth and just swan diving into the third
82 games,
level.
man. It's like,
You know,
the
Keefer,
brain is
you know the
mush.
Taco Bell dong that we do for the read on advertisement? You know how it
Scared the
goes
shit out of
bong?
me.
So we always do the Taco Bell read, then we pause to wait for the dong, and then we give the stat that goes with the Taco Bell read. Well, Taco Bell brought whatever. We pause. There's no dong.
No
so
dong.
I'm like, well, Mo sure would have liked the ding there. And he goes, it's a dong. I'm like, well, either way, it didn't show up. So 30
We had-
seconds later, in the middle of the call, Lee Blair just hits it. Bong,
Full volume.
out of nowhere.
Full volume.
Yeah.
Dong.
Just to give it to us.
It
Because
scared
we
us.
called him out. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like on purpose, or was this a delay?
No, on purpose.
No,
No,
on
on
purpose.
purpose. And he was just laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Hey, who's in charge of the dong? Is that a Travis Hondard thing?
The
This
dong
is-
would be that would be like a Sam because they'd have to
How are
roll it
we-
off tape.
How are we not laughing about this right now? Who's in charge of the dong?
Who's in charge, Griff?
Like
It comes from the graphics machine, so Hannah's the one that plays it out, and then the A1 has to track it.
I thought it was the
Okay.
A3. I thought maybe the B2 or the R2.
All of our
D2.
fans now know the Taco Bell read. We wait for the dong. So it's
Hannah's in charge of the
Higgins.
dong.
She's the start of the dong. And then who's tracking? Is that Sam?
Usually it's Yuli. Last night it was Lou.
Lou. Okay.
Sweet
So we got a Hannah
Sweet
to Lou.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to find out, was it Hannah or Lou that messed up the dong? Because we can't do the Taco Bell read without it. It's not right.
It didn't feel right.
No. And then they blew it up mid-broadcast as I was calling an awesome play, of course.
Yeah, there's
Obviously.
nothing worse than doing a broadcast and having a dong thrown right at you.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Unexpected.
Just out of nowhere.
Unexpected dongs
Hey.
are the worst.
It all started with Maxie. Remember, he'd wait for the dong. He goes, I love that dong.
It's such a funny word too. D-O-N-G, dong.
And it can mean so much.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this podcast knows exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, it's a tone. It's just a tone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Griff,
No, it feels
Griff,
like
do you
it.
got the Taco Bell dong right now that you can hit so people know what it is?
He'll find it.
You guys think
He'll
I
find it.
just have that like lying around?
Griff,
Is this
you
like,
think
is
that
this like a
in
tab
Griff.
that I have?
Griff is doing this show from his bed with like just a sheet, not like a comforter or anything. He's got his goalie gloves on, his cargo pants, one eye open. He's probably drinking a Mountain Dew. He's probably got like the cartoon channel on.
I'm saying Celsius. Griff, what are you drinking?
Water.
No, you. Griff, you haven't
Baloney.
drank- No way. This isn't an
And are you watching-
11:30 drop-in soccer game. This is a 9 a.m. podcast.
Is Return of the Jedi on in the background?
Attack
All
of the
right.
Clones, but
Hey, Griff was in a bad mood like 2 games ago. I walked in. I've never seen Griff in a bad mood. And I'm like, Griff, what's going on? Freaking Dennis didn't even give me any Novocaine. I sat in the chair and I was dying. I
He
go,
was
"You got
pissed."
cavities?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I had to have a bridge. He had to have a bridge, which I think is like upper, like in the roof of your mouth. Griff, what happened?
Put the camera on, bud. Let's see you.
I don't have a functional camera at the moment. I've never needed one before.
Go grab it out of the bathtub
There's
and then turn it
there's
on.
one on
That was the
order.
problem. I
It's
dropped it in the
refurbished and
back.
it's on. It should be there in 6 to 10 months.
Well, all right. So in 6 to 10 months, then I'll tell you the story.
It's just you and me, Griff.
I know. This
How's it?
is the point we're at. Waiting for coach. And these guys just leave.
Oh, baby, what is that? Oh, yeah.
We talked to the gal last night that got us all this awesome wine, and I said, I got to put this in my backdrop. So I got to organize quick.
I still have mine up too. She was works for a wine distributor out of there you go, Rikes. That looks great. She works for a wine distributor out of Napa. And she sent us all this. Oh no. You guys ever notice this, by the way? Moj would love this beekeeper.
This one's the 70th anniversary.
So what's that one that you have, Rikers? That's 75th? Keefer, do you want to tell the Parker Kelly interview story, by the way, using your best judgment?
Oh, God. So people know when Johnny and I are in the studio and the team is on the road, we're out there with 2-minute commercial break. And sometimes we have no idea who we're getting. So it's hard to prepare, like what you're going to ask or whatever. We know that we're getting Parker Kelly. And we know that we've just seen his uncle come in to the locker room to do the lineups in full David Putty Braveheart makeup and go Tasmanian Devil on the locker room. And the boys loved it. So we've got all of our questions basically centered around his uncle. And with about 30 seconds to go, Griff gets on and says, hey, just a heads up. Let's kind of keep it game oriented. You know, one question maybe about his uncle, just, you know, this and that. And we were like, Griff,
You can't,
listen, I want to come back to this.
No, you can't chime in. This is not, you let Keefer tell his story.
Okay, fine. I won't chime in. Just tell your story to coach.
Never mind. Stop telling your story.
Coach.
DC.
Of the Jersey, Ryker.
Buddy, look at this. Thanks. You sent this to me too.
Did I?
Well, somebody in your staff did, so thank you.
Did I? It's beautiful.
Hey, and how about this year's? Your captain was number 21, scored the beauty OT winner against Mish.
It's unbelievable. Great goal.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Guy didn't play a
And
shift.
that was his second goal of the season, right?
Yeah, the guy didn't play a shift 2 years ago against UMass in the overtime as a sophomore, and he scored in the game-winning goal.
Ryker has been bragging about this jersey that you sent to him for 20 minutes, and then he finally confronts you with it, and you're like, I did?
We did?
Oh, that's beautiful.
We did? I got to
Sure,
talk to
something to do
somebody
with
about that.
What was the final last night? That game, like, the game starts so late. You guys, when do you guys get home?
12:30 last night.
Yeah. Are you in town, Johnny, or are you up in the mountains?
No, I'm in town. I'm well, right now I'm in we rented a place in Cherry Creek. So yeah, it's just full time is too much to go up and back. Like I could do it when I was doing part time, but now I'm with these two yahoos every game, so it's awesome though. I love it. In Denver's, it's the best. We love living in Vail, but it's pretty special being back down here too.
Yeah. Nice.
Coach, we always start off our show with the 5 hard questions just to get your blood pumping, because I know you've been on a crazy media tour and it's 9 a.m. and you're exhausted and you might sleep for 2 weeks after this whole thing is shut down a little bit. So here's the 5 questions for you. Be as honest and as open as you can on every one of these. We'll try and have a little fun.
We had the 1-year-old
If you had to
growing
pick
up
a
last night,
concert,
too.
if you had to pick a concert or any band to describe the last 6 days since the championship, what concert would it be and why?
Wow. These are hard hitting. To describe the last 6 days, I would just tell you a concert. Can I tell you a concert I'd like to go to?
Yeah.
That'd be right. I'd love to. I have not seen Zach Bryan live. I saw Eric Church. He's been my favorite, but I like Zach Bryan a lot. I'd love to see him. Or the Sam Barber. The Hudson brothers put me on to him at the World Juniors. He's a big deal, so I'd enjoy seeing him as well.
Are you going
That's
to go
awesome.
to Morgan Wallen this
I've
summer?
actually seen Zach Bryan at Broncos Stadium or
Oh,
whatever.
did you?
It was, oh man, it was
When is
insane.
Morgan Wallen coming, Ryker?
It's like in August, I think, August or September.
2 shows at Mile High.
Okay. Ferg's a big music guy too. He'd probably already have tickets. And he's funny. He'll buy like 8 and then he'll just, whatever he doesn't use, he's secondary market selling them, giving them to people. So,
Good for him.
oh yeah.
Coach, do you think I have a Morgan Wallen vibe with the stash a little bit? I've been hearing this.
I'd say so. You probably got to throw something off a rooftop though, right?
Don't encourage him.
To get all the
I
way
can
there.
do that.
DC, don't encourage him.
Just
And
stay
he's
off
the
the
only
ring.
person.
Stay off the ring.
The only
camera.
person he's hearing this from about him looking like Morgan Wallen is
Yeah.
himself.
Not true.
We made it 3
Everywhere.
minutes into the
It's pretty
3 minutes
standard,
into the
isn't it?
podcast. He brought it up.
All right, question number 2. I know you had friends and family at the championship games, but who is the first person that you physically called after the win?
I don't know if I've called anybody. I got a lot of text messages, but phone call to talk about the championship. Honestly, it would have been Steve Miller or Derek Lalonde.
Yeah.
Would have been one of those
Awesome.
two. I talk to them pretty regularly. So they were probably one of the first phone calls for sure.
I thought for sure it would be like Ryker after you sent him the jersey. You'd be like, I need to follow up and see if he got this jersey or not.
Ryker was one of the text messages. I got back to him right away.
Yeah. How many messages, Coach? I know it's in the hundreds.
I think this one got over 4. So,
Wow.
So impressive, man.
Yeah.
And you hit back every single one. How many hours did it take you?
I tried to get it all by the plane ride home the next day because we had the morning for a little while. Our flight wasn't until 12:30, so I was able to hammer quite a bit out in the morning and just get back to people.
Hey, have you ever, or when was the last time that you let your mind wander behind the bench, maybe during a TV timeout or an intermission or anything? Because I know you're razor sharp focused on the game, but maybe there's the kiss cam or something's going on where you just let your mind wander. Does that ever happen when you're like, oh shit, I got to pick up the dry cleaning, or I didn't let the dogs out, or the oven's still on? Have you ever let your mind wander during a game?
Yeah, I do. I actually pay quite a bit of attention to like the in-game entertainment at the TV timeouts and like if the shovel crew's doing a good job or a bad job, or if it's a good song or a bad song, like I notice that type of stuff for sure. You could talk to Tavis. There's a few times where I've gone down to him. I'm like, why are we playing this song at a hockey game? Or I hate this video, or because there's a lot of dead. I mean, you can't be talking the whole time to the guys. They don't want to hear from you. So, yeah, you certainly are paying attention to some of those things, and especially NCAA tournament. I mean, it's a 2-minute TV timeout. I remember in Vegas saying to Tavis, like, I just want this in the Michigan game. I'm like, I just want this game to get over with. I got a headache. The music's so damn loud. You can feel the bass in that building in your feet. So it's just like, it's obnoxious how loud they play the music at T-Mobile.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, my mind, I can multitask during the game with that stuff.
Good. One of my biggest pet peeves, David, is when you get done eating cereal and somebody drinks the milk. I know that's normal. I'm sure Ryker does it, but it's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
I think you're going to ask me about my cereal routine.
Well, do you drink your milk?
As a child, all my friends thought I was very strange because I hated milk in my cereal. So I'd go over to a friend's house. We'd have cereal in the morning, and I'd just dry cereal, Cheerios, Fruit Loops, whatever it was. And I'd eat it with the spoon, but there'd be no milk in it. I've since changed. I've started to add. I think there's some value to it. But pet peeve for me, it's fun. I was driving home. I have a very short commute. I walk most days, but some days I do drive, and I get annoyed at people who are in a hurry on the road. Like I'm going the speed limit. People are like I see them in the rear view putting the hands up, and I just want to. Then I slam on the brakes. I'm just like, what are we doing? Like you got to be in that big of a hurry. Like we're on Bucktail. You know what is the rush?
Speed limit 30.
Oh my God. I finished in Boston, and living in Boston, like I used to be a pretty calm driver. Living in Boston for a year and a half, it night and day. It turned me into the angriest driver because there's no rules.
Yeah, no, there's not out there. It's crazy out there.
And you don't get anywhere if you're not a psycho on the roads. So I'm probably the guy behind you throwing my hands up, and if you slam on the brakes, I might crash into you, and it's my fault.
Yeah, I'll tell you too. I don't like that bikers don't honor stop signs. Like for me,
I don't either.
Yeah,
they should have to stop. And like, why do they have the right of way on that? And maybe that's the law, but I feel like they should have to stop.
100%.
You know,
100%. Drives me bananas.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get all the bikers mad at me.
For sure.
That's
I had my first.
they've been mad at you for a while, Keefer.
Yeah, I had my first like neighborhood dad moment yesterday. I had I'm trying to think. I had both boys out. One was riding his bike. The other's his scooter. They're 5 and 3, so we're like learning crossing the street and stop signs and stuff, and especially with the 2.5-year-old. And guy we're on our street. The guy it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit road, and I swear he's going 40, and I give him the hands up and the slow down, and I've never done that before, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm getting to that stage in my life.
I know.
I will say this morning, like this is swear to God, so we have an e-bike. I take my 7-year-old on the e-bike to the school here in Cherry Creek, and my 10-year-old rides her bike to school on the sidewalk. And I ride like in the street with the 7-year-old on the back, and there is a lady going 50 through Cherry Creek. It's a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
Stop sign rolls right through it, and same thing. I go, it's a fucking stop sign. And there's parents from the school standing on the corner like,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah, that's
Attaboy, Johnny.
Yeah,
someone's got to do it,
right?
All right, last question, then we'll get going. I kind of did this with Jared Bednar too, but you got to pick one of these three, David, or everyone on this podcast explodes, okay? So you have to pick one. You have to record an entertaining TikTok every day for a year. You have to streak at a European soccer game. Or you have to coach. What?
On the field? Like just so you got
okay. Yeah. No, in the stands. You have to do it up and down the stand. Or you have to coach every game next year wearing a Where's Waldo uniform.
I do the Where's Waldo for sure. Yeah. And it's easier for me than Bedsy because we only have 44 games. So 84 for him's a lot. Yeah, I don't have TikTok. That was a hard no. I'd probably shriek over the TikTok, to be honest. But yeah.
Oh, that's good.
All right, Coach. So is that the podcast? That was it?
Yeah, see you, Coach.
Great. Yeah.
We're not far from it. We're not far from it.
We really laid it out for you, the direction we're heading.
It's a lot less intense than Chicklets, where you're breaking down NIL money. I mean, you went on an absolute rant. It was a clinic.
Yeah, well, it's like you ask a question, it deserves an honest answer sometimes. So,
yeah.
And if you don't go into it, you don't fully grasp it all, like how complex it can be. So, it's good to have the opportunity to do it.
Okay, so we talked to Logan O'Connor yesterday in the locker room. And he said you had a grammatical error in 2017 when you were the assistant coach.
Yeah.
And tell us about trust the process and the extra S you threw in there. And then that still sticks today when you redid the locker room It's part now of the lore. Tell that whole story, how it went down.
Yeah. Was this before or after he went off sides last night? Couldn't maintain possession.
Oh, we're gonna send him this clip. 100%.
That's so good.
It was like, because that was the next whistle was the TV timeout they were going to show us. So they scored, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Logan, the part of the goal, like kind of just symmetry, and then it gets challenged, and the guy can't keep possession on side. Like he put himself offside, you know.
He was trying to stick handle.
I know
on it.
that's not a good thing for him.
Oh, that's amazing. I still thought he had possession, Coach. I thought it was still the wrong
Hey,
call.
You got to
But
take the homer hat off, Ryker. It was offside.
Yes.
So
okay, buddy. Coach rules.
yeah, it was. I'm trying to. Was it our? Yeah, it would have been. I'm trying to remember. It was actually our 20. I'm trying to remember if it was our 2017 title run or if it was our 2016 Frozen Four run to Tampa. It was our. I think it was in Tampa, because we were at the XL Energy Center, and that's where the regional was that year. Anyways, I was doing my PK meeting. Monty does his 5-on-5 stuff, and then I did my PK stuff after. And the boys, throughout the year, you always cling on to something that you try and, run with. And for our group this year, they put it's personal, all the time on the board and on their playoff shirt. And for that year, they just kept writing the process up on the board. So I did all my PK stuff, and then I'm erasing all my drawings and gibberish, and I accidentally erased trust the process. And the couple of the boys were lingering because they were going to do their stretch with Shazi, and the two that were back, they were like, they freaked out. They're like, you can't erase that. So I had to try and draw it back up how it was. And I'm not a great speller. I have a DU education, and I was more of a numbers guy, and I didn't know SC, which one happened in the middle. So I think I just put both. I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you how I spelt it today or how it is supposed to be spelt. Anyway, so I put it up there, and the boys came back. They saw it. They kind of got a laugh out of it, and it kind of took on a life of its own. It ended up on a playoff shirt either that year or the year after. And Butchie was the captain, and we're like, are you sure you want to spell it, that way? And, his point was, well, we've never, at that time, the Monty's process was 7 items, and we'd never gone 7 for 7. So there was always an error of some kind in the process. And so he kind of tied it back to, we've never been perfect in the process. So the fact that it's misspelled, we kind of like it.
Love it.
And so anyways, that's where it went. And it's on championship rings. It's on the wall. It's taken on a life of its own. So yeah, that's the story.
Isn't it
That's
awesome
unreal.
when something just works out? It's not everything is supposed to be perfect, and the imperfect sometimes is exactly what you need at that moment.
Yeah, 4 championships later. So it's working.
That's
Take
a
that,
flex.
Michigan State.
Oh,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? Told you I was on the DU bandwagon when Sparty got knocked out, right? So it's
Hey, think how many cups the Avs would have won if they counted all of our mistakes on a nightly basis. We'd be.
Whew. All right, Coach. I reached out to your brother. So small world. I think I'm pretty sure. College years are a little fuzzy. I actually took your brother around Michigan State when he came on an official visit there.
Oh, nice.
But I reached out to, a long time ago. But I reached out to him and just said, hey, anything that you think I should ask you. And he said one of the things that he thought I should ask is when you were a student assistant coach back when, and what it was like living with the guys and going out with the guys, but yet being in the meetings as a coach, because that's a pretty unique perspective.
Yeah, it is for sure. I saw a lot and I heard a lot. So I kind of had the, and I've talked about this a little, it's been a while, but I did have like I think both sides really respected the position I was in. Like I'll say that the guys never were like, oh, what did coach say about me today? Or what are they saying in the room? That really never happened. And I also lived in an apartment with John Lee. So I didn't live in this house with, a bunch of guys where we were, throwing it around in the living room every night. It was Johnny and I, in our little apartment right next to the rink here. But, and then I would say too, like Guaz and Killer and Uzi, like they were never like, who's not doing the right things away from the rink. Like it was never, and that I really appreciate, because that could be a really uncomfortable position for me as in everything I was going through to be in that. And so that would be, I definitely saw and heard things, but again, I would say that like both sides never really shared anything. The only time I could say is like, Guaz asked me once, he goes, did the guys have enough fun? And that would shock a lot of the guys, I think, because, the thought is always, oh, the coach doesn't want us having fun. They don't want us going out and doing things. And, I think, from what I heard from people from Guaz's time, like he enjoyed himself at Wisconsin. And certainly he was had a lot of years with Ron at Michigan State as well. And I think there was, so he had seen some things. And I do remember telling him, like, no, I really don't. I think our guys are kind of scared to like let it rip enough. And, so that kind of surprised him. And then, I saw his tone kind of change a little bit, after a big Saturday night or what have you, like to him starting to encourage me, not overtly, but just, I think that was on his mind. That was the only time he really ever asked me about any of that type of stuff. And it was probably from the other side that, you'd be surprised of. I'm sure Ryker is surprised having played for coach, and, maybe you're not shocked, maybe you are shocked that he would ask something like that. But, I think he wanted the guys to be around each other and to enjoy themselves. And there's a huge part of college, as you guys know, that there's an academic experience, certainly, but there's the hockey experience and there's the social experience. And I think that's what makes Denver so great is you can have all three, in really flying colors. So, that'd be the only like real kind of tidbit or story to have where it kind of came up.
Well, that's because Guaz had to deal with
awesome.
me for 3 years. There was no shortage of fun. Throw in Jason Graham and Judd Stouse and James Armstrong. We had absolute partiers. Not a whole lot of wins, Coach, but a lot of brewskis. Guaz, my goodness. So leading into that, how has recruiting changed for you? So, back in the day, I had Coach Gwazdecki in my living room at my billet house in Nanaimo. Then, of course, Steve Killer Miller closed the deal.
Of course he did.
In Penticton in the summertime. With you having so much success, Dave, do you get like a ton of DVDs of players wanting to go to your school? Do you still have to travel hard? Are you in front of parents? Like, how does that landscape look?
Yeah, it's certainly different. There's so much more access online to be able to watch kids. So like, I mean, even the last 5 years, we've probably stopped getting as many emails. Like it transitioned from getting stuff in the mail, letters, things of that nature, to emails. And even, when I was assistant, 8 to 10 years ago, we would probably get daily, we'd get emails from kids, hey, interest here, interest there. It's actually how we got Rudy Junda. He sent an email, so we would read these emails and see if anything kind of stood out to us. And Rudy was one. We were looking for a player late, and, we ended up connecting with him. Local kid, dreamed to play for Denver, and was a great 4-year guy. And now he's got like, he might have more followers than you on Twitter, Ryker. He's like 50,000 followers at Barstool. He's crushing it. Really? So he's got a direct line to Portnoy. And so anyway, so that's like, that all would occur. Now I think the emails are less. We certainly hear a lot from agents. The player pool has expanded a ton because of the CHL rule change. Tavis, I would tell you, he probably had a couple 10 to 12-day trips this year where he was just out watching hockey, bouncing around the Western League, and or he'd go to Minnesota for a weekend, then up to the Western League on a Monday, catch a slew of games, and then come back for the weekend. So that's changed too, because we've been able to add another full-time assistant, whereas again 4 or 5 years ago we only had 3 coaches that could actually get out and recruit. And so you'd have, me and Fergie on the bench with our volunteer, whether that be Ryan or someone else, and Tavis would be out. But now Ryan's full time. We always have 3 coaches on the bench at least, and Tavis can get out and crush things. I don't miss games. So like the Western League is nice in the sense because there are Sunday games or Tuesday games, and you can get up and you can get in and out of Seattle on a 24-hour window, or in and out of Calgary on a 24-hour window. So it does make it a little bit easier with the player pool expanding to be able to get in, get out, have a lunch with a kid, then watch another game. Like there was a trip this year where we played on Friday, Saturday. I flew up Sunday morning. I met with a kid for lunch on Sunday afternoon. Watched a kid Sunday evening, had dinner with him after the game, and then I was home on the first flight out Monday morning, and I was back for practice at 1 p.m. So there's more pockets and windows to be able to do that kind of stuff, and that's kind of what I do. Whereas Tavis is, really crushing the volume, and then he's identifying that, the really efficient 24-hour window that I can go out and meet with, 2 or 3 kids quickly and try and make an impact on the recruiting that he's really teed up for us to have.
Man, that's a lot of work. So you're still getting in front of parents. You're still traveling. That still happens.
Yeah, for sure. But I would also say technology's improved so much. Like there's a lot that happens on Zoom. So, we've got a whole, presentation that we can do a screen share, and really people can get involved and kind of dig their teeth into what does the campus look like, the rink, the locker room, the daily schedule, the weekly schedule, the video, like what does that look like? So we've gotten pretty efficient with, being able to get a lot of information in on like a 45-minute to an hour long Zoom with a family, to where, we do get a lot of kids that commit without even seeing the campus. And so that can be really efficient as well because the technology's improved so much.
Well, it's a long way from flying down and staying with Paul Comrie and Gavin Morgan and barfing in the middle of the border and then committing
Still
3
happens.
days later.
Still happens, but not as much. You'd laugh.
That's
like
a rite of
parents,
passage.
Parents are on visits too now. That's probably a little bit of a different thing well as,
wow.
Because kids, I think the recruiting timeline's probably accelerated, certainly from when you guys were in school, but even when I was, and, parents are coming down with their 16 or 17-year-old sons to kind of see it. So they're not even actually, like when I did my visit, I remember, Jeff Petrie was my host at Michigan State, and staying, in the dorms and on campus.
Edie.
Like now they're in a hotel room, and there's that vibe has changed a little bit in the last number of years for sure.
I want to spin off of the recruiting part. So we had Logan O'Connor on the podcast, I believe it was last week, and we were going through just a bunch of DU stuff, and he made the statement that your most famous alumni is Mark Rycroft.
Recognized.
And most recognizable alumni is Mark Rycroft. I want to get your thoughts on that, and does it hurt with your recruiting that is the truth?
So I know you guys, Keefer and Johnny, you guys will love this, but so like last night we're coming on the show pregame. This might hurt Riker's ego a little. So, but he's
please do.
His skin is very thick. But,
yes, it is.
So we got Buckberger and Chizowski there, both Western Canadians. Kyle's from BC, Boston's from Saskatchewan, and so we're about to get on the show, and I'm like, hey, just so you guys know, like the guy in the middle there, that's an alum of ours. And they're like, oh, really? That's cool. Who is that? And I'm like, Mark Rycroft. And they're like, and so they did not recognize him. They had no idea who he was. We had to give him the years that he played at DU and all of it. But I told them you're from BC, and then they got a little excited. And so, yeah, Ryker, I mean, he's up there for sure, but I figured I'd share that and try and bring him down a notch.
I need that, Coach.
Yeah.
I do need that. I wasn't sure if the boys knew or not. The generation gap's getting a little wide. I'm not in the locker room giving rah-rah speeches a ton, so.
No, we got to
I can
get you
handle
in
it.
there. Read some starting lineups maybe next year for the boys. Get them fired up.
That could be kind of fun to starting lineup. I'm bad at speeches, but I could definitely do a starting lineup.
Yeah.
That'd be a blast.
Hey, my final one for you, Coach, we promised we wouldn't keep you too long, is just, can you explain the final 2-3 minutes of the championship game? Are you watching the clock? Are you counting seconds like a fan? I mean, to a certain point, how much are you like, this is the slowest 2 minutes that's ever happened in the history of hockey?
So I would say, as much as my mind wanders during the TV timeouts, like we talked about, in those moments, you're just kind of locked in on, do you want to use your timeout? Have they used their timeout? Obviously, we had a power play with 4 minutes to go. So what do we want to do on usage? Do we want 1D or 2D? Do we want to try and score in the first minute? Be a little more conservative in the last minute of it. Then they iced it. At least once, and then you want to get your personnel out there that, like, so McMorrow went out and he essentially won us the game in the last 30, 40 seconds. But yeah, you're certainly looking at the clock, but you're trying to figure out what they're going to do. Like, I remember the BC game, like we were up 2, there was a TV timeout with like 4 minutes left. And when they had an ozone face off, and I thought they'd pull their goalie potentially there. But so it was kind of strange to me that they put Leonard, Perreault, and Smith out without the goalie pulled, being down 2 and knowing that those guys were probably going to have to score both goals for them. And then like a minute went by, and then there was an offsides dot, and then they called their timeout on the offsides dot. And then I was like, okay, if we can just get through the next 90 seconds, like, we're going to win, because I just don't think Smitty and Gabe and Lenny can score twice without a timeout with a minute 30, and we're not going to use our timeout to give them rest. So you're just trying to, like, see who they have personnel wise out there, their top unit, their second unit, all that type of stuff. So I'm not really, I mean, yeah, you're aware of the clock like you would be, but not as a fan per se. You're trying to just manage, because that's a big thing. Like, if their top unit was out there for, 50 seconds, and we could change and get our second set of, like, I think our second set of 5v6 guys are better than their second set of 6v5 guys. Like, we would never use our timeout in that situation. So you're trying to just manage all that. Do you want 2 centers out for the D-zone face-off for a guy to get kicked out? That type of stuff. So it's just a lot of communicating to the bench, telling them to keep their stuff in, because a puck coming, if it hits us with a leaned over stick, then it's staying in zone. So you're just trying to manage the excitement and just make sure everything's organized on the bench.
Coach, has that mentality changed compared to pre-3 national titles and 2 World Juniors?
The mentality of, like, the focus, or?
Yeah, like the way that you approach it, as you just described, has that changed over the course of your career?
Well, my first Frozen Four, I completely screwed something up. So yeah, that was probably the biggest learning moment of my career. So, like, that UMass game, we could have, I'll rewind. So, like, first 5 minutes of the game, there was a high hit, and we called the refs over. And I said, hey, I think you missed a high hit there on one of our guys. And they went in and they looked at it, and they came out and they called a 5-minute major and kicked the guy out of the game. We had a 5-minute power play. And then Barrow took a 5-minute major a few minutes later. And then fast forward to the third period, Bobby Trevino, I think it was Trevino, hit someone in the head near our bench. And I called the ref over at the very same conversation. And I said, hey, I think there was a high hit. You guys missed it. And he said, you have to use your challenge, in order for us to look at it. And I'm like, well, I didn't have to use it in the first period when I asked, which I thought was strange. And so they're like, well, you have to use your challenge. If it's not a 5, then you lose your timeout. And there was like, if you guys remember, there's like probably 3 minutes left in the game when that all happened. So the game was tied. We would have been on a 5-minute major, the last 3 minutes of regulation, first 2 minutes of overtime. And he said you would lose your timeout. So ultimately, I'm like, well, gosh, overtime, you got the long change, you got no TV timeouts. You might ice it. We might want to use a timeout in overtime. Little did I know, I didn't know the rule in college. My first year head coach, I was not abreast of the challenge rules, and as I should have been, obviously. But if you use your timeout in regulation or you lose it via challenge, you actually get your timeout back in overtime. And so it was like the most no-brainer challenge of all time. We didn't challenge it. We lose the game in overtime. And Trevino gets suspended because of the hit. He got suspended the next game for the championship game against Minnesota Duluth. So that just sticks with me to this day. And I wake up thinking about it sometimes, how I screwed that up. And, so I think that probably evolved just paying attention in those moments. And truthfully, it's one of the more enjoyable things to watch, especially in playoff games, how coaches manage their bench, if they're up a goal, down a goal, with their timeouts, with face-off location, with time on clock, because you just don't really know what's going to be presented. I mean, the Western Michigan game, we were down a goal. They were playing really well in the third period of the NCHC semifinal game. And we were struggling to generate anything at 5-on-5, and we had a late power play. There was probably 3 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes left. We got a power play, and we let a minute go by, called our timeout, and then we pulled our goalie to go 6-on-4 because we just felt like that was the best chance to be able to score, rather than have our top power play guys, who are your top 6-on-5 guys, be tired after the power play, and then you're not going to have a lot of juice with them with the 6-on-5. And so we decided to pull it, and that was our best chance to score. Buckberger scored. We got it to overtime. We ended up winning. So every situation's like really different. I remember like Edmonton and Florida, I think it was a game 7 when Edmonton lost it. You watch it and you're like, it felt like McDavid was on the ice too long, and he only had he had like a 30-second blow, 5-on-5. Like, he put him out there for an ozone draw. They stayed out for like, a minute and a half. And then, the clock's ticking, and you're like, well, McDavid's going to need to be out there for 6-on-5, but there's only a minute 30 left now, and he needs a blow. There's no whistles coming. And so he got a quick blow on the bench, and then he was right back out, and they had no juice for the 6-on-5, and Florida won the cup. So it's just like, I think that's the art of, and I really enjoy watching those parts of the game, probably more than anything, because your job as a coach is to put your players in the best position to be able to have success and score a goal. And you have to talk about the situations too as a staff. I mean, we talk about, like, is there a situation where we'd pull the goalie in the second period? If there was 30 seconds left and we were down 3 goals and we have a power play, like, do you get possession, pull your goalie, and then tell your guy, and then your players know that they're not going to shoot it till 5 to 10 seconds left, so the guys can't ice it down. I mean, there's just all these.
Have you ever done that?
No, but the situation's never presented itself. So
Okay.
We will pull our goalie with like 4 seconds. If it's under 4, we'll pull him a lot of times on an ozone face-off to end a period, just to try and do something. And so, yeah, you always try and think about those situations, or even at like the end of a period, of second period, if you were up 5-on-3, would you, and the clock's going to expire, would you pull your goalie to go 6-on-3 if you're like down 2 goals? I mean, the odds of them getting the puck and icing it are so minuscule. So we try and think of those situations as a staff and talk about them, because you never know when it's going to come up in a game. You can't script it, right?
Wow.
As you guys know.
That's pretty amazing.
But those are fun things to just like think about and watch and talk about.
Okay, Coach, last question right here. When we were talking to Sean Horkoff last night. Of course, his son played for Michigan. And there's one thing that encapsulates not even the last 3 championships, but it's like Denver lore, is these legendary goaltender performances. So you start with Magnus Cronin, 22, and then Matty Davis puts on a show that we didn't think could be beat. And then somehow Johnny Hicks has maybe the greatest goaltending performance ever in the Frozen Four, and George Gwozdecki always said one thing.
Goaltenders
It's a
tournament.
goaltender's tournament.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is it more your
Wow.
system, Dave, that protects the goaltenders a bit and helps them out? Or how do these goaltending performances manifest themselves?
I don't know, man. Because you could go back to Berkey's performance, against Maine and even against Duluth. In the semifinal, they were down 3-1 going into the third, and he had the big time breakaway save on Junior Lassard, and obviously Mano. It's funny, you can just trace the goalies back for the last 25 years, and we've always had a guy that has been excellent for us. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know the last three, certainly Ryan Massa gets a ton of credit for, what he did with the mindset, for Magnus and Maddie and for Johnny. And I think what we're excited about is, Maddie and Magnus both won as juniors, and then so did Tanner. Tanner won as a junior as well. So we were like, can we win with a guy who's not seasoned and in his junior year? So to do it with Johnny as a freshman is pretty cool. But Ryan does so much good work with these guys. But you're right. I mean, it's kind of gone back. I mean, you could Johnny and Maddie and Magnus, Philip Larson. I mean, he had 2 shutouts in the regional that year. We went to Buffalo and lost the game to UMass. Tanner Gillette, Sam Britton was world class. Mark Chevry was a Hobie top 3. And then that kind of led to, UC Okanora. I mean, he's won a men's worlds with Finland. But then you go back behind Chevy, it's Mano, and it's Berkey, and then it's Doobie, and you'd argue you go back to Sino, and I've heard stories of him standing on his head with some of those teams in the 90s. So anyways, I'm not quite sure what it is. I mean, RG, maybe he's just sprinkled some dust around here, Jerry Powers or George Kirkwood. But yeah, we've always had great goaltenders at Denver. It's strange because none of them have really, outside of probably RG, have really gone on to these, exceptional NHL careers. I mean, Mano played some games. Certainly Doobie did. Corona's had a few. Maddie's just starting his career, but I would have thought Philip Larson, truthfully, would have been a big answer to Detroit's problems the way he played his 1 year with us. But it's pretty amazing the goaltending pedigree that we've had come through the university over the last, really 75 years, but the last 25 years have been incredible.
Coach, you're the best, man. We appreciate the time this morning. I don't know how you fit us in.
Thank you so much, DC.
Thanks for having me on. Good luck in the playoffs.
Of course.
So it is the Kings, right?
Yeah.
It is the Kings.
Okay, so the Ducks came back and won, so it's the Kings.
Yeah. Troy Terry scored the game winner.
You think Q is like, hey, let's win this one so we can avoid the Avs, or?
Oh, yeah. I think Q probably had a few choice words in that second intermission for the Ducks.
Were they
Coach,
not
that
playing
mustache.
I didn't follow it much, but
Coach Q's mustache would have been flapping hard in that locker room. They would have been rolling.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Troy got the game winner. You
Yeah,
think
we
it's
got
true
two
that
game
he
winners.
doesn't have
No.
a hit this year? I've seen that. Do you think that's true?
He has 2 hits.
He has to,
We
so you've
checked
been
it last
credited
night.
with
2
Okay.
hits.
Yeah.
Good.
He's on the score sheet.
You have to get Shazi working with him this summer a little bit more.
Beefed up. Yeah, I think he's battling some injuries. I think he's kind of staying away from the.
He
the
has
hitting
been
because of
banged
that.
up this year. He's having a great year. So happy for him. This is his first time in the playoffs, so it'll be exciting for him to. He's just wanted to play meaningful hockey for so long, so it's exciting for them.
Thanks, Coach, for TV last
Yeah.
night and podcast this morning. I can't wait to hear about your hibernation nap that's hopefully around the corner.
Well, you guys got Rockies today too, don't you?
That is tomorrow. So today's
tomorrow.
late day
Okay.
for the boys, and then
Nice.
Rockies Saturday, Nuggets Monday.
Wow.
Bring
That's
a coat.
awesome.
It's supposed to be not warm.
Well, yeah, we were supposed to do today, and they canceled it because of the weather coming in. So yeah, we are doing tomorrow. The city's going to get a strong dose of Johnny Hicks. He's going to do the first pitch, and then he'll do the free throw at the Nuggets game.
Oh, yes. Sick.
Oh man, I almost airballed that. Tell him to keep his feet on the ground. That's the key. If you jump,
if
you
you
airball.
airball, it's not the end of the world. It is a different ball. It's a little sticky. It happens to the best of us.
Ryker, if you do a jump shot as a free throw, you've got problem.
Yeah, Vic Lombardi said, keep your feet on the floor. And I was nervous, right? The guys are all out there. And it's first
It's
thing I
very
do, I'm in cowboy
nerve-wracking.
boots. I'm just getting nothing but airtime. And I was like,
DC,
oh, no.
did you do it? Did you take the shot too?
So I've done it twice, and I airballed the first one.
Oh,
And it was on a great line, but it stuck to my fingers, I think, is what I'm going with. And then the second one, I at least hit the rim. So I was happy that I just made some contact. I'm like, I'm not airballing 2 of these.
Just tell Johnny Hicks not to. He can't bounce it into the catcher on the first pitch. That's the one thing you can sail it over the catcher's head. Do not bounce it.
But you know what's so the Rockies, they don't do their pitch properly because they have the I did it in 22 and then Matty Davis did it in 24, and you throw it to the mascot one, which is I don't see anyone else do that, but the mascot is in front of the dirt, not on home plate, and then the thrower is in front of the mound on the grass, not on the mound. So
It's like a handoff.
Oh, it's a very short throw. It's the it's not. I wouldn't even. It's a first toss. It's not a first pitch.
Yeah.
But so if he bounces it there, we got problems for sure.
That was pretty good.
outstanding.
Boys, did you
Outstanding.
still realize how they think the game, eh? When they're just sitting back there.
And like, you go back to Robo, like how similar coaches see the game and the way they verbalize it. Like when he was talking, I'm sitting there and it was almost deja vu to when we had Robleski on a little bit and how they process the game, the detail and the little things that they're thinking about that they can control, right? Like the sticks over the edge of the bench.
That's crazy.
Hey, right? Like just pull them back. And how about the situations? Like it's almost like a think tank a little
Chess
bit,
match.
like within the coach's room of what about this scenario? Like I want you to come up with 3 random scenarios that we can talk about before practice on Tuesday of do you pull the goalie or not?
You know what's going to be fun to watch? I appreciate and I'm learning and it's just watching the coaches, who they put out there and why. And I guess I've never paid attention to it, but it was fascinating to hear that.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, boys,
you guys
we
agree
gotta
that-
keep getting coaches on. I mean,
I
that's
don't
between Robleski, DC, and Jared Bednar. Is that not 3 of the best discussions we've had since we started this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that none of us have coaching brains. Johnny, you'd be the closest, I think, if any of us could coach. But I don't know if I got the detail bred into my brain to do that on a daily.
Man, that's like a beautiful mind, right? Where you're just seeing like numbers and lights.
Well said.
And I mean, my brain hurts thinking about it.
It's kind of like the fat guy from The Hangover before he counts cards.
There you go. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.